So we're going to have one last video, which is an amazing display, a 164th award-winning display at the last National Farm Toy Show. Thank you to Jason at Toy Tractor Times for doing the video and sharing that information with us. You're going to pick up some really unique ideas in this next one. And then following this video, we will ask Karen to come on and she will talk about the awards for the best displays. Again, we appreciate the vendors for coming on, the toy collectors who've created their displays. Some are done with video, some are done with photos, but a lot of really good and unique ideas that we can learn. So please do take time to go on the Ontario Toy Show and Auction Facebook page when you have a moment. And please do give some comments and some encouragement to these people, because they all go to a lot of work to prepare something to show us for our benefit. And it's great to acknowledge their great efforts and their collections. Here we go with an award-winning display from the National Show.
I'm here with Jason Bowers from Jefferson, Maryland. Congratulations, you took first place here at the show. Well deserved. We've got a really neat display kind of highlighting international harvester history and some seasons of how that equipment's used in the different parts of the year.
Yes, Jason, thank you. Modeled it after my uncle and grandfather's farm in Maryland, Boonesboro, Maryland, Western Panhandle.
Well, that's good. Why don't we take a tour and we'll see what took home the gold trophy. So here we've got the main farmyard, and the thing that I guess stood out to me the most is right up front here is this 986 four-post ROPS with the spreader. Is that a model 650 you say? Or
yes.
Yep. So I mean, it actually, when we look back here, it just has that realistic view of the manure coming out. I guess tell us about the equipment and what you did to create that effect.
Most of the equipment on here, probably 95% of it is what my grandfather and my uncle had growing up on the farm. So that 986 was our workhorse. I modeled it after their tractor. We did a lot of tractor pulling with that tractor too. But it was our main workhorse. It had over 200 horses. We had our fuel pumps were set up on our tractors.
It's got a windshield, but it's also a four-post open station.
It was a 4-point ROPS. In the wintertime, we had a plastic cab we could put on it, snap on it.
We're good. And then the spreader looks great. How did you create that spreading effect?
I took some bunting, which is like cotton ball, and pulled it apart and made it how it would be coming out of the spreader, and then actually painted and added the dirt and the mud to make it look like manure flying out, so it's the same color as the loaded manure that's in the spreader. And
I know Maryland, Pennsylvania, you have a lot of stone walls that border the fields, and that's a kind of a neat effect.
In Boonesboro, I actually grew up about 10-15 miles from Antietam National Battlefield. So a lot of our fences were the old stone fence from that time, that era. So I had to add that in the display as well. So it's a pretty unique, cool.
Did you build the fence, or is it
the fence? I actually purchased the fence. It's actually a war diorama fencing, and that's real big over in Germany. So this is from Germany.
Neat. It gives it that very realistic impact.
Yeah.
And now we have the large dairy barn, and you have that nice weathered wood effect on it. And
yeah, it took. I didn't have time to build an actual one, so that's the Erdl Farm dairy farm building from there that I weathered up, because I was told you cannot win out here in Dyersville using Erdl house and barn. So I was like, well, I want to try.
And here they are.
I want to try. But I added the pigeons, because I remember being a kid always shooting the pigeons off the roof with BB gun and stuff. So I got those 3D printed and painted them up by hand.
That's great. And the different, you got one stretching its wings.
Yep.
And it's different.
Of course, a little bit of pigeon poop on the top is always great. Then I can take that off. Then on the inside, we got a milking stanchions. Turn it on. So we didn't have a milking parlor. We had 6x6 stanchion. 3 milkers. So we'd milk 3 cows, and then once it was done, switch them over by hand.
Okay.
and then moved back and forth. Had the red wheelbarrow feed scoop in there to feed them. Then we had Kill Brothers wagon that had the feed in it, and it always had a shovel by it, so when it got low, you can reach up in there and pull it down.
And you got a forage box there? Or?
Yeah, got a just dump wagon with some silage in it. Once we change the seasons, I can pull that out and show you where I can put that on, on the display. I tried to light everything up best I could. In the milk house, we got that's a old bulldozer electric fence charger. And I got 3D printed. And then if you follow the wires, you can watch the wires come out. I put the Blaco so it wouldn't ground out on the window. And then it just follows up and over and goes out through the fields. So I'm charged.
Good detail. All things that I never think, boy, I wouldn't have thought to put that on display,
the one
but now I need it.
detail I wanted was the ticket sound. I couldn't figure out how to get that tick, tick, tick. So I had to just concede to that and just go with the flashing light.
That's good.
But that's a little detail I added. And then in the house here, I added a lot of detail upstairs. I'm upset because these lights would come on. It's by remote control. The remote control sucked my battery yesterday when I had it on. So
well,
it doesn't,
I can still see the downstairs.
It doesn't operate well. That's the cool thing. I made this so it can pull up and out, and then you can look at the downstairs. And then there's
who
a
knew
fireplace.
that this was all inside the Earl house?
Yep. Had the fireplace going, a little lamp, and of course, I made all the curtains. Did all the curtains and stuff, and got a 3D printed old school TV, so it's all time sensitive. And found some pictures and stuff online that I kind of glued to the walls and the kitchen and all that kind of stuff. So
very nice.
Thank you. Working our way around.
And I like the landscaping, you know, as far as the stones and the shorter grass around them. And
the actual front walkway, that's an actual concrete. That's quickcrete. I took and formed a little walkway and put little stones in there, and that's sitting. It cracked, so I'm like, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Had some grass growing up through that. So.
And I like your driveway. You got with a.
Yeah, gotta have the tire marks coming out from the tractor, man. Yeah, that was always key.
Pickup truck, and where'd you get this fencing?
The fencing I got online at a hobby train store.
Okay.
It's identical to the fencing my grandfather and uncle had with the hoops. So I painted it all, rusted it a little bit, and painted all the posts white because that's what they were. And then of course the gate was a little rusty, so I kind of rusted that out, but it works.
And then we've got a chicken coop in the back here.
Yeah, the chicken coop and the outhouse is all modeled after the one on the farm I grew up on.
Okay.
It's identical. And all the doors
I
open
was going to say, I
shut.
didn't notice a bathroom in the house. Now I know what it was.
Yep, that's it. The outhouse. And then you can take that off. And the middle section, it fell over. We had some barrels where we had the chicken feed and just like some old furniture and stuff in there. And then, of course, over here we had the chicken coops and a roost for the chickens at night to get in.
Much simpler time.
Much simpler time.
Corn crib.
Corn crib, rusted that up. That's I think it's Sandy makes those. Sandy toys.
Yeah.
And then the corn is just painted rice.
Okay.
And we always used to grind feed out of the corn crib. And we also
Farmal M on a 1250 or.
That is a 1150.
1150. Okay.
Yeah. And that's an OH. It's a farm OH. I changed it. It was the H that was the state series.
Okay.
Got from Outback, and it had the white line on the front, so I got rid of the white line, and because we had an old farm OH, and we always ground feed with that.
Nice. And then we've got another building
This
here.
machine shed is identical to one my uncle had. We got the lights on it, and I peeled off. We had a corn crib on the inside, but we never used that much. I remember being real little, and they used it one time. And they kept the baler in on this back side.
Okay.
And then we always kept the H in the front side there and stuff.
Got the sprayer and another gravity wagon. And
sprayer got some dye on there, you know how they always.
Yeah. bale wagon here and a chopper hay head.
Yep.
And what is that, a 445 baler in there? Or?
It is. I believe it is a 445. It's 435.
435
with 15 kicker on it.
Yep.
And that was a New Holland piece that I painted up and stickered up and found wheels off John Deere. I went to a Maryland farm toy show, found an old broken up one, took the wheel off and mounted it to this. So get a little more realistic look to it.
So got the equipment.
Yeah, got small little shed I just made because I was running out of space for it. Got the 1190 International mower that we had. So that's a New Holland mower that I took and repainted and put the guard on the front just like International had. Hay rake, WD-45. This was my dad's dad. So on my dad's side, he had one of those, so I added that to this farm too. So that was kind of neat, little montage to my grandfather's. We come around, we got I custom made the feed trough because that's exactly like the one my uncle had, just scaled down 1/64 scale. And then of course you got the skid steer out here. It was mudded up, 743, got the 80s sticker on it. So it's all the right. A little bit of water, muddy water in the trough.
They've got the earthen silage bunk.
Yeah, our silage bunkers, we never had a bunker. We had dump wagons. We would dump it. My uncle would run loader tractor up it and mash it down. And then once it got full enough, then we'd throw the plastic bag over it, dump dirt around it, and then throw the tires on top. And all the tires are individual. They're not good.
So would the dirt just be stacked up here when you're not using it in the corner? Or?
Yeah, usually we have it, like say we got done, it would all be pushed back here, and we would start again the next part of the season, and then bring that dirt around and keep using it.
Now I noticed it looks like you have a little bit of a stone shelf sticking out here.
We got little stones sticking out here, and then stones all over. Maryland, we have rocks everywhere, and if it was rocky, most of the time it became a pasture.
Okay. Or a wall.
Yes. A lot of times we would have to farm in some of that.
So where did you get these pieces of stone?
The pieces of stone were woodland scenic stone for stone walls, and I got the idea of, because a lot of our stones would just stick up enough to catch that mower head or catch that baler. So
sure. That's and then the cows are out here out of the barn on the grazing, and we can also just see that fence that you mentioned.
Yeah,
wraps all the way around the perimeter.
We never had a ton of money to put up board fence or anything like that. We always did electric fence. My biggest part was trying to figure out those yellow screw-on hooks on those metal posts. So I came up with those little yellow beads. I had to glue each one on individually, that was time consuming to make sure they stayed put, and then to feed the wire through because it wasn't a hook, so I had to feed it through like fishing line. So it worked out good. I was happy with that.
So we can kind of see also there's some trees out in the fields that have probably grown up because there's a big stone there and you're farming around it.
Yep. We always had rock breaks and all that kind of stuff to farm around. Then we come out here to hayfield being planted. If you look, there's also a groundhog standing up out by his groundhog hole.
Where do you get a groundhog?
Shapeways. I found personal shapeways who did animals, and I shot them a quick thing saying, "Hey, you make groundhogs?" They're like, "Give us a month." A month later, they came back with a couple groundhogs.
I like that.
And I took it and painted them up and then set them on. So I thought we got a ton of groundhogs in Maryland. So I thought that would be a good little.
I need to get some of those for my hayfield in my display. I like that a lot.
Yeah, Shapeways has them. Which was funny, the holes, the foam that I'm using, I used for target practice. That hole was made by one of my arrows.
Okay.
And I'm like, I didn't know what to do with it, so I made a groundhog hole out of all my.
It looks realistic. I'm going to zoom in there on it. Looks good. So now we're getting the hayfield planted. What tractor and drill are out here?
That is an International 666. I took the National Farm Toy, had a 656. It looked very much like the 666. So I repainted it, changed the tires on it to get it just like one my uncle and my grandfather had, with the radio on the side and the flashers on the back and all that. So that was my favorite tractor. I love that 666.
510 grain drill with a white top.
510 grain drill. That was just that was a John Deere. Changed that and then got 3D printed marker tires to put on it.
Nice. And then I guess we'll come around to get some corn planted over here.
Over here, 706, planting some corn, and we didn't have markers, so we used the chain and the pole, and all that is movable. I can remove it. I can take it off. Put it back on. I rusted out. We had a rusty old piece of angle iron that was bolted to our weight bracket that we would always put down.
Up here, you can see where the chain would have indicated where your guide was to get across the field, and you've also got all your lines in here from the planter.
From the planter.
And the drill.
Now the thing that makes this stand out from everybody else, and the reason I won the trophy, is because I kind of call this the transformer of displays. So I can pull this corner off. And then now I can remove planting season. So that's April, May-ish. So now we're going
summertime.
May, June-ish, July-ish, depending on the weather. Slide that on there. Put that back.
That's a good quick way to hide the seam.
Quick way, and then by then, got some alfalfa coming up. So put this down. Put the tree back. And we always, when we pick rocks, we always threw them by a tree.
Sure.
That's what we always did. So you can do that.
Oops. Groundhog still checking it out.
Yep, he's still checking it out. Grab the mower. Now we're getting the first cutting of alfalfa off. Running over the weeds, got some weeds growing up in it.
That's perfect. That's so quick and easy.
Quick and easy. And then, like I said, I can continue.
So is that a base that you bought, this grass, or did you static grass something to?
Yeah, this was, go to any hobby store or train store, they have the rolls of grass for the train paper.
Okay.
So I got that paper, kind of drew a template of what the field looks like, traced it out on that, cut it out, and then put a bunch of glue down and started putting static grass down. And I knew I wanted to have like a first cut. So static grass, all this first, and then came back, static grass this second. And then to make the windrow, I just took static grass, not in the actual shaker, and just windrowed it up and glued it down.
Oh, making that first pass around the field.
Yep, groundhog fell over.
And then we can come over here, you've got the summer, knee high by the 4th of July kind of corn.
Yeah, and sometimes like that, what I would do is I'd hook the sprayer up like it's leaving the field, just to get a little change of scenery or something like that. Like you just got done spraying corn or something.
Very nice. Now, looks like we can change this again to late summer.
Yep. So we can pull this off. This is one of my favorites.
Yeah, I think it looks just like an international brochure.
This is a 666 my uncle had, and 720 chopper.
And then your dump wagon, was that a particular brand or a homemade?
It was a homemade dump wagon.
Okay.
Had plyboard sides, 2x4s, keeping it all together. And you can slide that on.
So you got a little bit of a lip to it too, just to
yeah, I got a small plastic lip to kind of help go over top of that, and then I put my fence on top so you can't. And then I got a little loose dirt that I can kind of blend in so it doesn't look quite as bad.
There, you can see where it came in the gate and had to crunch a little bit of corn.
Yep, came through. I got took a piece of styrene. My chopped corn is pressure treated timber dust.
Okay.
and then I mixed it with some of that fine turf that they use on the displays. So some of like this fine stuff. Just mixed it all up together, and I thought it came out with a pretty good look, corn chop look to it.
It looks great. I mean, get that impact of the tractor with the weights up there. And
I even took some bunting and made it to the effect where it's flowing back and got a little splashback going. So I made that little effect.
Then you just need to get the little chips blown over the top.
Don't know how to do that quite yet, but I'm working on it. So I can change that. Then late summer we can pull this off.
I can tell why the skillet is dirty.
And then add one that's already been raked. It's already windrowed up. I got some pins that I glued some dirt to try to get it down there. I put the tree back in. And then
I can tell why the skillet is dirty. Okay.
get my baler. Excuse me. Skid loader. Baler and wagon. Excuse me, bud. And just hook it up. And the hay wagons are identical to the ones we had. They were all handmade, but they were yellow and black, and then the other one was all yellow.
We can see that.
Pull that up close there so it looks like the baler.
That is so quick. And there you got the 435 with a thrower.
Yep.
That is a nice combination.
That, I believe, is the 806. Yep.
And the International, I'm going to just grab this
Go
tree
ahead,
to
go
show.
ahead,
This
move,
is really neat. International has a 2400 baler. And you've modified this in the stock model.
I did. That was an Erdl model that I took a Dremel and ground out so the belts would separate. And then I took just little pieces of brass metal and glued them in there, glued the little placard on the back that says danger, and made it look more realistic, like it really was.
It does.
Factory,
That's
so.
a great International Harvester piece. I'm going to give you that back to
thank you.
stick in there.
But yeah, and like I said, 10, 15 minutes, I can change out summer to fall, early planting, whatever.
Oh, Jason, thank you for sharing this with us. That's a great display. Congratulations on the first place win. Well deserved, and can't wait to see what you do next.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Well, thanks again to Jason at Toy Tractor Times for shooting and sharing that video with us. I think everyone will agree there's a lot of unique ideas there for building displays, and I'm hoping that some of you have learned some new tricks and tips, and we'll look forward to seeing some of those features on the next 2022 version of the Little Toy display. So there's a challenge there for Karen and Rod and others who are doing displays to try some new and unique ideas. So that pretty much brings us to an end of the formal program lineup today. We're running a little bit ahead of schedule. So once again, I will invite anybody who wants to come on and ask a question, make a comment before we get Karen to announce the award winners of the displays. So does anyone want to share any thoughts or questions at this time? I guess there's a bunch of shy people on here today. So I want to thank you all for coming and sharing your busy Saturday morning with us. We wish we could have been together in person, of course, but we've worked hard to try and bring you some unique ideas about farm toy collecting. Thanks again to Doug Harkey for doing his wonderful co-op and Cockshutt presentation, and to Rod and Karen for their display building expertise, which they shared. And now we're going to call on Karen to give us the news as to who the award winners are for this year.
All right, thank you everybody. It's been a great show. And Rod and I both really appreciate all the support we've been getting from everybody. I just wanted to throw that in there. So now I'm going to start by saying everybody's a winner. All the collections and all the displays that were submitted were awesome. We were impressed with all of them. Just in the interest of awards, we're going with our top 3. So I believe I posted it this morning, and I think everybody knows that the decisions were made by the number of likes per post. And again, everybody's a winner. Everybody did a great job, but the top 3 awards go to my wonderful husband, Rod Little. I had nothing to do with that one. The next one went to our newest displayer, Matt Greb. Congratulations, Matt. We're so happy for you. And our third goes to Chris Finkleiner in his collection. So thank you very much. Congratulations, Chris, Rod, and Matt. We're thrilled for all of you.
Okay, thank you so much, Karen, for that great news. And we'll be arranging to get the award plaques to these folks. Thanks again to George Stock and Scott Elliott and Hugh Mitchell, as well as all the other donors for the lot number 1 items for the Rotary consignment auction. It's been a great morning. I hope that you've found it worthwhile. We're always interested in feedback, so if you want to do some comments on the Ontario Toy Show and Auction Facebook page, that would be appreciated. If you want to email me, dougv@dougvincent.com with any ideas or suggestions or comments, or you can do likewise with Karen Little, and her email is showing on the Toy Show site. So thank you so much for joining us. We hope you found this interesting, and we're going to give you a little bit of time to go and grab a bite to eat, and then we're going to see you all at the auction at 12 p.m. Bid often, bid high. A lot of this money goes to great use in both the Oxford community and around the world. And keep an eye on the Facebook page and the Ontario Toy Collectors page as well. And you'll see the good work that you're helping Rotary do, making a huge difference and a big impact in the lives of many people who are in dark corners of despair. So thank you for helping us shine a light of hope towards those people. And we will see you at 12 p.m. at the toy auction at the Jacobs High Bid site. The link is on the Ontario Toy Show and Auction page, so we'll see you there. Thanks very much for everyone's help in making this a successful event.